Well, g'day listeners. Welcome to Bar Karate for another week. We're all in Australia, we're all in Sydney, and we're all in the front bar of the CYC. That's why there's noise everywhere. CYCA, I don't want to get in trouble. CYCA. My name's Jordan Spencer. We're pretty pumped up about today's little session. It's been a great week of sailing. So first up, joining me is my good mate, Mr. Brett Perry.
Greetings, Exalted One.
Greetings, Bar Karatians. Well, CYCA being Cruising Yacht Club of Australia, and we are all together on the same table. How about this? First time ever.
First time ever. It's great. So we better bring Bicey in just so he feels like he's part of it.
He had a voice that could make a wolverine purr.
Mr. Nick Bice.
Hang on, I've just got to take off my mask to deal with the smoke here. It's actually the first day it's actually cleared up here in beautiful Sydney Harbour, and good to be in the front bar of the Cruising Yacht Club. But apart from not having a beer in our hand just yet, it's a little bit unusual. A little bit early.
Good, exciting. So, well, it is smoky in Sydney. It's been an amazing week of sailing. It's been super exciting. And I just have to tell you, you boys are both pretty good with your Spanish, right?
See.
I've been trying to make my Spanish friends happy, and we've got a lot of Spanish listeners to the show. So I've been trying to use some Spanish words this week. I've been saying muchos a lot, and my Spanish friends tell me it means a lot to them.
Oh,
Bloody hell.
what are we going to do?
Funny shit to me from now on, eh?
Yeah, you idiots. Hey? Even our guests laughing there. Hey?
Hey, all right, well, let's bring the guests in because we don't want to hold back at all, because what we've got is the skipper of one of the line honest threats of the Sydney Hobart, from Blackjack, Mr. Mark Bradford. Welcome to Bar Karate, mate.
Don't act like you're
Am
not
I on?
impressed.
You're on now.
One, two. G'day, boys. Great to catch up with you again.
Yeah, welcome. So, Bradford, one design expert, manager of the sail off for North Sails in Brisbane, and skippering Blackjack. This is a lot of pressure for a young fella.
Yeah, young, although I seem to be getting to that point now where people ask me for my opinion, so I guess that means I'm no longer the young smart-ass guy, I'm the old smart-ass guy.
Yeah. So you've had a pretty good career. You've done a lot of sailing and a range of boats. Obviously came up through the dinghy stuff, like as most of us have done. So did the 470s for a bit, into the Etchells, did a bit in the Stars, racing the Far 40s, and then the keel boats. When did you start? Like you've been a sailmaker your whole life, I think, haven't you?
Yeah, actually, I didn't. One of the things I'm most proud of when I talk to my children is I didn't go to school this week because I had to start at, I think, Sailmart in Brisbane in the day after I finished school. So yeah, I've been doing this the whole time.
Yeah, right. So
But you've been to every school this week, Sid.
Representing the Thule division.
Those people that know me know I've more than made up for it.
Oh, this is going to be dangerous. This is going to be dangerous.
I'll tell you.
Okay, so there's a lot to talk about, but I guess first off is should we just roll into the Hobart stuff, I think, because that's going to be pretty easy. Let's talk about your boat first and what you've experienced from a sailmaker's perspective and a few things. So first off, let's talk about Blackjack. How did you get onto that program? How did that come about?
Yeah, look, that's a long story. I'm not sure how long the show's going to go for. I've been with Pete since when I got back from Valencia in 2008. We sort of struck a friendship and got things going with the 66 and then the ex-Telefonica 70 and now the 100. So, you know, Peter and I'd say it's more a partnership than working for him now. We've both got a lot invested in it, me in time and him in time and money. Yeah. And, you know, which I'm pretty proud of the longevity of that relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it seems to be good. It's an interesting one, you know, because, you know, when you look at the hundreds, that you always see, you know, there's always a skipper, you know, maybe Croaky was sort of the representation on that boat when it originally was Alfa Romeo, but then, you know, you look at your main competitor in Wild 811, you hear about Richards, we hear about you know, the owner's sort of almost a secondary sometimes because it's such a big program to run. It's like running a business, I guess.
Yeah, look, I think that observation's probably right, but it happens in other areas. I mean, Gavin's been with Carl Kwok for a while. Billy Butterworth's been with George David for a while, and also Ernesto. So, I think that more than the skipper tag, it's about being able to maintain a long-term relationship with someone.
Yeah.
I've had one marriage too, by the way.
Well played.
Shall we move straight on to that one, or no? Stand by.
Yeah, what boat was that?
That is now the B boat.
But,
On the A boat.
with the Blackjack program, Pete's got quite the vision, because you've done a lot of mods on the boats that have been part of the stable, namely the 70. Probably you gave that the full turbo job, and now you've moved into the 100 with the. Well, you couldn't, let Rico do all the mods on one boat. You had to do a few as well. So, who actually do you present something to him with an idea, and then work with the designers to come up with the next best thing?
Yeah, look, that's exactly right. So I guess, we're pretty fortunate with Pete in that our sailing team's pretty high end. Butterworth, Will McCarthy, Yocker, Dean Phipps, Simon Daubney, all these guys. We are at the bar. All these guys, spend a fair bit of time with us, so we do get together and talk about mods to the boat. And so then, this year in particular was about, we sort of had a 10-point plan on how to we're slightly distracted here, listeners. That's another 10-point plan on how to improve the boat. And look, the obvious one this year was just geometry. We just had to get the spinnakers further away from the mainsail so we could ease the main sheet, basically.
Yeah. Do you want to go on that one, BP?
Oh, I was just going to bring up the fact that you put out a little video talking about the Australian industry and supporting the Australian industry, and having Blackjack back in Australia is fantastic for the for the sport here. You brought the boat into the shed here, and you got all the guys here to do the work, which was fantastic. So that's a big part of it as well, right?
Yeah, I'm big on that. I mean, I've been involved a little bit at the cup level, and it is really a team sort of environment. And when you run a project like this, they're contractors, they're not in the team environment. But, these guys like McConaughey's, a guy named Peter Britt, you might have heard of, Pig. These guys are highly skilled dudes.
We'll leave this. We won't tell any stories about them, but I reckon that'd be a good old chat.
Yeah, look, and they're unsung. I mean, you talk to all the skippers and all the owners and the trimmers and all the rest of it, but these guys work in our industry and have a skill set that's, pretty vast and years of experience. So to be able to bring some work to those guys and help feed their families, I'm really proud of that.
Well, so first off on that modification, so I think quite a few episodes ago, we talked about how Blackjack had the stern cut off, and our theory was that the sign writer couldn't reach, so you've just brought it down to change the name. But what was the actual modification there in the stern? What did you do?
Well, basically we're just governed by the rule that, the boat's 100 foot long and do your best sort of thing. So we made our bow section longer by a metre.
Yep.
And so we had to reduce our LOA by trimming the stern up.
Okay.
Yeah. And then, Wild Oats, our distance from the end of the bowsprit to the mast is the same as Wild Oats.
Yep.
But essentially our bowsprit's longer.
Yep.
Because we sort of believe that was a lighter way.
Yep.
To get your spinnakers further away from the front of the rig.
Yeah, so I know exactly what you've gone to do then. So yeah.
And from a performance point of view, happy with the mods?
Hey, look, it's been a really interesting build-up this year because no one's really sailed against each other. We had a weekend against Infotrack and we got them in one and they got us in another one. And then Oates were there for an hour of a race and they've been out all summer. So
yeah, sure.
To say we're happy with the mods, I think on targets, yeah, for sure we're faster downwind than we were, and we had to be. To really validate it, I'll tell you on the 28th.
Yeah, exactly. About midday on the 28th, eh?
Yeah, exactly right.
Specifically around that, because one of the things that we've seen in the last few years is the three sail up front, which, let's be honest, I think that pretty much came out of the Volvo 65s. People started doing that, and you're a north sail, so you're seeing all that exactly. So that you must have seen quite an evolution in the way sales have sort of evolved on these boats. I mean...
Oh, yeah, look, absolutely. And you know, it's interesting. So we all sailed this boat, a lot of us, probably 6 or 7 of us, Knocker, Clarkey, Will McCarthy, in the very first race that Neville did to Hobart in 2005, where we had nylon spinnakers. You know, Adrian Stead was there, Ben Ainsley, I think that might have been his first and last offshore. and nylon chutes, you know, like we didn't get across Bass Strait with one left. And now we have sort of these 3DI laminate sails that are narrow mid-girth, high aspect, pushing on reaching struts. And, I mean, clearly the boats are going quicker.
Yeah, way quicker. And the kind of funny, well, when you were blowing up the nylon sails, that was kind of the weakest link. And now there's no more real weak link.
Right,
So the question is, what's next? And that's what we saw with the 65s. The weak link was the poor little stick sitting and thing.
Well, we saw that, didn't we?
Yeah, exactly.
And you know, then it's about, you know, Oates and us are built to ABS, not GL compliance. So that's why the boats are grandfathered to do with the structure of the boat.
Right.
And as everything's improving, the sails are getting stronger, the fuse is getting pushed around.
Ropes don't break these days.
Well, you know, so now where we're up to is what we've seen is catastrophic damage with wild oats.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that everyone's sort of starting to push right to the edge.
Yeah, no, interesting. And I guess the only good thing there, the science is so good these days that you can almost see where the next level's going to be. But because everything is almost built indestructible, like you say, it's going to be catastrophic.
Yeah. Look, I think, you know, the safety margins are still reasonably high. I think they're 2.3 or something.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, sure.
Is that right?
Yeah,
yes.
rigs go down to about 1.8, but then you start working above that for sure.
Yeah.
Depends how big your balls are, really.
Well, that's exactly right. But, you know, and these local Sydney lads have either got big balls or big something else, but they certainly like to push it when it's windy, these guys. I think it comes from...
Big balls and big wallets.
Yeah, another word starting with E. But they... and I can't spell, I'm dyslexic, so good luck, listeners. But, you know, I think it comes from watching the 18s blast around the harbour and seeing it done properly. And look, you got to push hard and you got to know when to button off. But the nice thing now is we kind of all know the loads. Like in 2005 when we did this the first time, geez, we were green. And if it wasn't for the waffler, there's no way we would have got through the first night.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the bit like first night out on the Volvo race we did. We had no idea what the hell was going on. And just the fact we survived our boat was so strong. We didn't know when to back it off or turn it up or turn it down. It just was like, just hold on, fellas. But with the big gear now, you need to know that point. Yeah,
and look, for sure the loads that we're seeing is nothing like Comanche or InfoTrack. I mean, those guys are they're in a different space altogether. Yeah, sure. But we've all got the same mindset now, and we all kind of have started to understand what it's about.
When are you putting foils on?
Look, funnily enough, we did a pretty big study early this year with the Artemis team with Ian Percy, a good mate of ours, to foil our Volvo 70 because we couldn't pimp it any harder. We thought we'd go the next step. And that was an interesting sort of process to go through. The thing that limited us was that ultimately you need to go and test it and make it fly. You need someone to write code, as in a vast group of people to write code for months on end to work the boat to fly through the air properly, which is what happens at the America's Cup level.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's a lot of talk of these full foiling offshore boats. I feel like we're probably 2 or 3 AC cycles away from that stuff filtering down.
So are you getting any, like, you're concentrating in Australia now, or do you still want to do a bit of stuff with the America's Cup?
We all got too old for that, didn't we?
Yeah.
Now, bloody hell.
Yeah, I mean, we all just saw what Slingers did last week, and, you know, I've got a man crush on Slingers. I have had that for some time, and you know, he's just confirmed to me why I love the dude. I mean, the way he sailed that boat last week, and, you know, Kyle was second, and that was all credit to him, but Nathan wasn't there, Burling wasn't there, Chuke wasn't there. You know, there's another group of those guys that can all do that thing.
Absolutely.
You know, at will. So, you know, that's not for me.
No, I'm happy watching it on the Facebook stream.
All right. Well, what I'd like to do, because we've got a lot to talk about this week, I'd actually like to roll into a bunch of discussion points because we're starting to get into them already. So you guys happy to move on with that?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, copy. First discussion point, I'm starting to wonder if we made a mistake with just going the front bar look.
No, I'm actually pretty good here. I've got a good view. You might have to just give me a little tap on the shoulder every now and then.
There's some really nice boats
Way
here.
up,
There's some really nice boats here, isn't
Lovely
there?
boats tied up to the dock.
You can
yes.
see them all, can't you, Boise? Hey?
All right. So the first thing we have to talk about is Team New Zealand had the capsize. That we've all seen that video.
We have, yeah.
Anybody got any theories?
Well, not everyone's got a theory, I suppose, but I just look. For me, it was exciting not to see it go over, but to see it count the way they got it back up, and the nonchalant way in which they set it off. We went for our next part of the testing. Now, for those at heart, it's fantastic to see that happen. It come back up with no damage. I mean, let's look back to the 50s and the 72s when they went over. It was rigged all over. It's a testament to the system.
My theory: Dolts made them do it. Just to show how easy it was, and they just went sailing for the rest of the day.
Training exercise.
There is that. But again, I just reiterate, it's wonderful that it happened, and I think that it makes the world stand up even taller to be more excited about this particular cup.
Well, so Bossy's theory is that it was a training exercise. They actually genuinely put it in because it went in super gentle. My theory is that if we went back to the final gold medal race of the 49er Worlds, Burling ran across the 49er one step too far because he was used to running across the back of the America's Cup boat, and now he's got used to the 49er. He ran step too short and he missed the helm through the jibe, and she's gone over. That's my theory.
Well,
what do you reckon?
I guess we better ask.
You getting any inside info from the Kiwis, Squark?
Oh, no, look, I'm not really that well connected to that group, but, I got the video sent around as quickly as everyone else did, and what I thought was remarkable, it sounded like Andrew Wills from North Sails in New Zealand on the chase boat going, oh, look at it, yay, this is great. And then when it was over, it was just quiet. No one said anything like, oh, shit.
It's very hard to keep Willsy quiet.
I mean, there's... it'd be interesting to see how many times that video got seen on Facebook this week compared to those two seals having a shag on that boat that we all saw going around. But equally impressive, I would say.
You idiots. By the way, I haven't told you this. There's a drinking game, a bar karate drinking game.
Really?
Yeah. Every time one of us says you idiots.
Oh, that's why I'm an alcoholic. Hang around you too much.
Apparently it's the truth. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, that sounds like fun. We've got a good year coming, haven't we?
Yeah. All right, Squark, so for you, mate, let's get on to the Hobart forecast. I've had a bit of a look. What you want to talk about? You would have been watching it closely, yeah?
Oh, yeah, look, interesting year. I've watched it change 3 times fully in the last 3 days.
Yeah.
Tommy Addis, who's our meteorologist and resident guru in this area, is super nervous about sending a forecast because with our group of blokes, we're pretty good at going. But you said,
Exactly.
look, everyone knows the boats are all in different spaces, and as long as they sail well, the boat that wins will be the one that gets the forecast. So this is the luck part of sailing,
Right.
that's happening in the next bit. To answer your question, got no idea.
No idea. Anybody else want to have a punt?
The only thing I'd add is it's going to be a little dependent what happens with these bushfires as well, I'd imagine.
Yep.
Like if we get that big smoke haze that's happened, that clearly affects either sea breeze or gradient in one way or another.
It does.
Unless we have like this clearing southerly that's come through now.
It does.
So,
if we go back to 2001, on the Hollywood Boulevard, we were out there and it was very similar fires that year, and we had ash falling down on the deck. And it was actually the year of the Twister, if anyone remembers that one. Yeah, and that was this.
I remember that one.
That was with the fires, and that was believed to have been caused by the fires. So, well, obviously we'll be all looking for that sort of thing. But it's so unpredictable. I mean, yesterday's a perfect example of that, with that southerly sneaking through and then it going away as quickly as it came. So, we're going to have to wait and see. And, they did say 98 to expect a southerly front at some stage on the second day. And...
Yeah, look, I think the other interesting thing about the fires is a lot of the information's gathered from the high-resolution satellite images, and they don't know that it's a cloud or smoke. So they don't know if it's going to burn off or stick around. So that affects how the models...
Burn off. I like what you've done there.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Yeah, did you see that?
Well, if they did a bit of a burn off, maybe we wouldn't be in this situation.
Yeah, I'll tell you what's going to happen in Customs House. I'm going to have a burn off.
Yeah, exactly. Mate, you're on fire.
I might just join you on that one. Hopefully.
Well,
How about you, BP? What have you heard for 52-footer? Anything?
Mate, it's one of those things. I try not to listen until the night before, to be honest. You know, people are rambling on about it now. Oh, it's going to be this, it's going to be that, it's going to be this. And then it goes on and on, doesn't it?
All right, let me tell you what it's going to be.
Okay, here we go.
It's a trap. It's a trap.
So, again, like the models are changing left, right and centre, as Squark said. Am I allowed to say Squark on the radio? Yeah.
Who's this Mark Bradford guy?
It's only till we said Squarky's come. Oh, that guy.
Yeah. So likely, the model I saw this morning was probably a southerly, not super heavy, kind of light southerly. Two different models. One was stronger than the other, but both were southerly. For the first sort of night and a half, and then it sort of cranks left, and comes around light nor'easters. So maybe the thermal doesn't work that well at all, but it looks like it could be maybe better for the slower boats. It could be an all-rounder boat. If that comes true, that's kind of what I'm thinking. So like a TP might be almost the perfect boat for this event because it's a bit of everything.
As opposed to all other IRC races, TPs are really not the right boat.
I'm a risk taker.
Well, thanks for that great insight.
If you look at the...
Wait till we get to the Moth World discussion, mate. Yeah. Let me tell you how...
A Moth will win.
Let me tell you how
Did a Moth win?
Yeah. That's
So
it.
speaking of the Hobart, BP, you'll be doing it, obviously.
Yep.
Unless you get hit by a twister.
Yeah.
But Jordan, we should do a little like a daily update or couple of day or something.
I think that's what we're going to do. So we'll have Hobart specials. We'll just do a little update on what we're seeing.
Yeah.
We may, if they're close to shore, we may ring a few phones and see what we come up with.
Shall we steal like Channel 7's feed and do our own commentary?
We're trying to work out. We're not smart enough to work out it.
So,
Roy, that's
hilarious.
That's spot on. Yeah, absolutely. But look, you guys are welcome to give me a call on the first night, and if that southerly's around, you'll hear a bit of this. Or a fair bit of that.
Well, that's all the best sailors do that, mate. Don't you worry about that.
No.
Well, shall we roll into the odds?
What are the odds?
What are the odds?
What are the odds?
Shall we want to discuss?
Yeah.
Go on. So at the moment, and then we'll go on a bit of strategy stuff, if you don't mind. So line honours odds. Has everyone got those?
Yep.
Bicey, you got those?
So Comanche currently at 280.
This is the TAB odds, these ones?
Yeah, TAB for over the line there. Wild Oaks at 3, Blackjack at 350. Worth a couple hunch on that one, I'd say.
Yeah.
Scallywag at $7, so you'd put $1 on that. Info track, who knows? $9.
Info track at 9.
Yeah,
that's good.
Could be an outsider.
Just worried about the big light spots.
I reckon it might be a bit sticky for Comanche. I reckon you could be throwing your money away on that one.
Yeah, look, I mean, again, gets back to the forecast.
It does.
I can tell you last year we're all in the same patch of water for a large portion of the race. So, those odds on Info Track and Scallywag, that thing's improved a lot. So, for sure, Blackjack's going to win. That goes without saying.
Yeah, absolutely.
But, maybe the trifecta or something you should work on.
All right, well, let's go. I'll give you the odds for the over the line. So, the Tattersalls Cup. Itchy Barn in at 350, which is pretty fair.
TP 52 for the listeners who don't know.
Cat Wincher at 550.
Now, there's a big story.
Tell us
Cat
that one.
Wincher is a 33-foot ketch built in 1904.
Really?
Right.
Something like that.
Got a good rating, I'm thinking.
And one Michael Spees is on board. It has the fully been redone. It is an absolute beautiful little boat. So after this, go down, have a gander.
Right.
One of the funny little things is he's got on his mizzen He's got the same sail area, but he's lowered the head down about a metre off the top of the mast with a massive square head.
Is that
Is
right?
this the thing with the 18-foot skiff main or something on it?
Oh, it's got just it's normal mains.
Oh, yeah, right,
but it's got a really big square head mizzen on the catch rig setup.
Yeah, of course, of course.
And he's done that just for downwind performance. So mizzen is pretty well useless downwind, so he's going to try and hopefully there's a bit of downwind for him. Looking at the latest weather, there was a bit of that. So
Might crank her up from 4 knots to 4.2.
oh yeah, it will absolutely blow it out of the water. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. In third at 650, Blackjack.
Handicap, really?
Yeah.
Oh, there you
Pressure's
have
on.
it.
They've called it.
I know Peter Harburg well, and he won't be happy with that. If anyone talks about handicap in our world, you're out. Yeah.
You're right.
Well, speaking, the Queensland, from the Queensland same club, the RQ, in at fourth at 7, Envy Scooters.
Brett Perry's lot. Yeah, look, these guys won the Southport pretty handsomely this year. So, you know, they've worked.
That could be worth
they've worked
$1 or
hard
two
at it.
as well, I'd say.
Yeah. You want my bet, but
Yeah.
what's URM at on there?
Oh, God.
Neville's
URM.
old
She's cheap.
Shockwave.
Yeah, there you go. She's at 12.
Yeah, not bad.
Put your money on that.
Yep.
Yeah. She's at 12 bucks,
He's a-
same as Wild Oats 11.
He's a very good boat, that old URM. Did a sailing on that back in the day, and
This race.
yeah.
No one heard that.
Yeah, I just think it's a good sized boat for this race. You know,
Yeah.
like the class.
Is that the old Shockwave you said?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
68 got extended to 72, right?
Yeah, and it's had it.
Yep.
You know, it's had a few changes to the hull, like all the good boats have. But you know, I think Bubs used to run it.
Yeah, that's
back
right.
in the day.
Yep, exactly. Yeah.
And sort of at the end of Michael Pugh's last big push with design, the late 2000s.
And it pretty much laid the path for the 72 class.
Yeah.
Maxi 72 class.
Exactly right. And I just think on IRC, like the 52's a highly refined boat, and that Maxi 72 class is another thing from the same family. So,
All right.
and
I'm
they're-
whizzing down the sports bet now.
and they're beginners, you know, beginners luck, all that sort of good
Yeah.
stuff. So,
Yeah,
you know, I think that they'd be a good show.
Okay. All right, so after Envy's Quest at 8, Alive at 850, Naval Group at 850, and then sort of blows out a bit from there. So that's sort of the numbers that we're seeing on the odds. So I guess the next question then becomes, geez, we picked the table next to all women. It's just not smart.
Well, or smart.
Or very smart, but very noisy. Okay, so,
Sailing?
all right, so let's talk tactics, Squawk.
I got a question.
Yeah, go.
What's your AIS strategy?
Well, ours is pretty much the same as last year.
Just leave it on.
Come back.
Well, there goes any chance of getting anyone from Wild Oats.
Yeah. Oh, look, it's interesting this year because it's not a compulsory part of the rule. So they've changed the rule a little bit this year. So
Yeah, right.
could be a bit of
Didn't realise
hide
that.
and seek
Yeah,
this year.
sure.
For those who don't understand that,
Oh, do we have to go there?
No, all right.
Come
Well,
on.
let people
Let's
can
let
go
it
and
go.
look back last year and they'll work it out. All right.
That was a knockdown.
Fair enough. I don't want to upset him.
No, not the Squawk.
I'm going to go there. You're not going to upset me.
No.
Someone else might get upset, though.
Well,
Yeah, we don't do that around here. Go on.
we had our theory for the big boat race was that Wild Oats wasn't ready, so they set the fires, so everything would be shut down.
Well, one thing that would have worked in the big boat race for everyone to see each other would have been the AIS. So, so, yeah, just have a think about that.
Actually, you know, if it goes northeast or slightly offshore before the start on Boxing Day, so the model's wrong, it's not southerly, it could be complete whiteout. No one will be able to see anything.
There has been discussions of what would happen if it was to happen on the day, and there's been all sorts of people saying silly things like, "Oh, to start them offshore, or we'll do this, we'll do that."
Yeah, right.
Look, I
That'd
don't
be
know.
crazy, wouldn't it?
To be honest, it's a big thing that's being talked about right now. If it was to come in on the day, I mean, it really does wreck the day. You know, what do you do?
Yeah, just get the choppers up.
Choppers up, blow it away. All right, let's talk the tactics though. So, your line honours is all that matters. You've actually alluded to that with your boat. So the line honours is king. So, you know, you're not racing a regatta. So you take more risk on board in that situation because it's just one race. You've got to win that race. So, you know, Are you looking? Have you run? Like, I'm guessing you and the Navigator have run a whole bunch of different sort of models to see where the courses are and stuff like that. Is that as far as you've gone now, or are there other things that you've been doing?
Oh, yeah, look, I mean, and all the teams are doing that. I mean, everyone knows it's about preparation, and, you know, they're all here. Stan Honey, Juan Villa, Tommy Addis, they're all working hard on that part of it, for sure. We're in a little bit different space to, say, Comanche, in that, you know, they just let it rip.
Yep.
They're either going to win or they're going to lose.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
But for us, we're going to beat Wild Oats and Scallywag.
Yep.
Because if someone from our family wins, you've got to be the first boat in that family.
Yep.
Sure.
So, you know, that...
So there's a little bit of fleet action.
A little bit of fleet action, and, you know, and I'm happy to say that's why we have Brad Butterworth with us for that part.
Yeah, no, well, he knows his way around the tactical side of things.
And though it doesn't matter, what is the rating differences between the three of you?
So Comanche's the highest out of the fleet, and then Oates, I think, and Scallywag are pretty close. I think Oates is probably a bit higher than Scallywag because they carry a spinnaker still with a 75% mid-girth.
Yep.
So they cop about 30 points for that. Then Scallywag, Infotrack, and we're actually the slowest boat on paper.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
But it's to do with how sails are configured and rated.
Yeah, sure.
It's not, you know, that part of the of IRC is not really that accurate.
Super refined, yep. Copy.
So you're saying you've got it worked out?
Yes, I'm looking for a career in IRC rating after this.
That's if you win.
Either way.
Oh, dear. All right, so what about being the 75th anniversary? Does that bring more pressure?
Oh, look, for us, the pressure comes from our little race with the 5 boats. I mean, don't kid yourself, the stakes are high, and the stakes aren't high because you win a prize. The stakes are high because there's 5 well-funded teams all on their own development path, unlike any other part of the sport at the moment. And if you win the race, your thinking gets validated, so you get bragging rights almost over the whole budget that was spent across all the teams.
Yeah, sure.
If that makes sense.
And, I mean, you're pretty humble blokes at all these boats as well, so the bragging wouldn't be that much in Customs House.
Yeah, look, a few of us went to Customs House early in the year. Pete bought a 8-metre, classic 8-metre boat off Woodsy that we went and did Monaco Classic Week with. And so we thought, we'll do a bit of mid-year training. So we went to Customs during the year and walked in. There was Clarkie and myself. Clarkie from Sydney Rigging walk in the door, and the guy goes, you blokes. Let's just keep it a bit more low-key this Christmas, eh? And we didn't even have blackjack gear on.
Hey, do you, with the Maxis, the TVs always throw the coverage to the Maxis. So do you actually have a cameraman on board for the start with your boat?
Yeah, look, that's a good question. No, we don't. And we don't because Pete believes it's a distraction.
Yeah.
You know, there's a huge investment here.
Sure.
And, and it was sort of, my comment sort of goes a little bit along the lines of the Loyal thing as well. That was always about the celebrities and who was sailing with them. For us, we're a professional sailing team.
Yep.
We've got
You're
pro
there to win the
sailors
race.
on board, and we're
You
here
don't
to-
have a huge sponsorship commercial program.
We don't have any of that,
yeah, exactly,
and we don't actually even really need a social media footprint, so we can just really concentrate on the sailing, and that's one benefit of not being from a sponsor-driven program.
Here.
Well, you can have the Baccarati social reach now.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
And aren't we onto it?
Any questions? Any more on that? Shall we roll into the Moths?
No, I've got one question. Blackjack, the name Blackjack. Want to tell us that story?
Yeah, so this is actually a good story. So Sir Jack Brabham, the late Sir Jack Brabham, Formula One driver, he won 3 world championships with cars that he not only drove, he designed them and built them himself as a part of the mechanical team as well. So it was all his thinking in the car. Back in the day where if you made a mistake, a little thing called death happened to you.
Yeah,
the safety was pretty low on the agenda. So Sir Jackson made a Pete's. Pete actually has quite a few of his cars, and they've been mates for a long time. And so Sir Jack Brabham's our team patron, and he was there in the beginning. Actually, I don't know how much time we've got. Have we got a bit of time?
Yeah, give us up.
So I went to Sir Jack's funeral. It's a state funeral, and and his kids are all into motorsport, and his son Jeff gets up, and the Premier's there, and everyone's there, and the chief of the Fireys and all the rest of it. And it tells this story about Jack had a rare form of prostate cancer, and he read online or got some intel that a magnet would be a good thing just to
WebMD.
pop in your jocks and roll around with, right? So he get, and this guy, and they're telling this story at a state funeral. So Jack...
I could see why his mates. I could tell straight away.
He was a bloody beauty, Jack. So he pops a magnet in his jocks and he cruises around, and that's all going great. Goes back to the specialist, and he started to go into remission. So he thought, if one magnet's good, I'll try two. So he got 2 industrial strength magnets, dropped them in his jocks. The poles flipped,
Snapped over.
fleeted off his piece, and he had to call his 50 or 60-year-old sons in with pliers to get it apart.
That's a cracker. Should have been called Cracker Jack. Got him. Yeah, it's got him gone.
Actually, I honestly, I've been for a lap around the racetrack with Jeff. He took me around the racetrack, and we seemed to hit it off. I was at this racetrack thing, and I was chatting to him, and we got on. We had a good lot of laughs. So he's clearly that sort of he's a good, fun guy. And I said, "Oh, do you mind if I film it, mate? As we go around?" He said, "Yeah, no worries." And I can tell you honestly, all you can see on the video is the roof of the car as he's accelerating, and the floor of the car as he's braking. There was no relax. It was either up or down. I never got a bit of the track. It was just insane how hard that bloke drove a car.
Yeah, they're nuts. And I'll tell you what, for all the younger people out there that want to find an owner and get the yachting going to the next step, a motor racing guy is a really good guy to find, because they understand that weight is important. So normally weight, to make something lighter, costs a lot of money.
Yeah, sure.
Whereas the motor racing guy is just all about weight. That's
American Magic of they got the
Penske.
guy, Penske in there.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting.
Oh, and they do.
Full of praise from that point of view when Nick Dana came on, saying that just that next level he brought to the team.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's good advice.
Yeah. You remember that? Yeah. All right, that's very interesting discussion. All right, shall we talk Moths? Moths?
Do it.
Okay.
Shall we let Squart take it off? Tell us a bit more about the bro love.
Yeah.
Oh, how good is that kid?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. So we're having a beer up at Mooloolaba at the Midwinters, where he was schooling me as per normal and everyone else that was there. And I said, "What are you going to do at the Moth this year, Slingers?" He goes, "Oh, yeah, we'll do a bit of that." I said, "Are you using our sales?" He said, "I hadn't really thought about it." I said, "Well, why don't you use our sales?" And thank God we had a couple of beers that night.
Yeah.
Didn't that work out well for us?
Yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
So did you spend much development time with him?
Yeah, look,
Or he just spent time on the water?
Yeah, it's Robbie Greenhouse class.
Oh, yeah.
So we have class leaders in our organisation, and Robbie heads that class up. So there was Robbie Chew, Scott Babbage, Tom Burton, Slingers, and Rob.
Yeah.
Did I say Matt Chew?
Yep.
Yeah.
Chewy, yep.
And so they just hammered it out pretty hard. And I think the other person was the outlier, was Kyle was also in that training group, so he got to run off the coattails a bit, which he did a great job of. Yeah. And, look, we've been here a lot sailing, as everyone has this year, and every day you go on the harbour, those 5 or 6 blokes were out there.
Yep. Time on the water for sure.
So watching the footage, I could clearly see a slight difference in those north sails. I could clearly see the leeches were staying tighter. There was a little bit they were a little bit more aerodynamic, lower drag setups is what I saw. They were just gone.
I was just going to say, do you think that those sails would aid to Bicey and my Moth careers? Bicey's done 1 hour. And I think I've done 45 minutes. So do you think if we put one of those north sails on our Moths, that we'd be able to sort of maybe stretch that out to double that?
Yeah, here at North Sails, we're here for the people. We can help everyone at every level. Yeah, look, sorry, Jordan, I laughed then because I thought you were saying you could spot a difference, so they weren't the same. I thought I was in the complaints department for a minute, which I filled most days of my life.
The complaints box just up around the corner, third level.
So to my eye, when I was watching, it looked to me like in that top third, they'd taken either some seam shape or a little bit of luff curve out to try and reduce that drag. And so one of the weaknesses is it comes up on the foil slow, but then if you looked at their tactics, they were always up to speed well before the start and never came off the foil. So suddenly they've worked out they can pull some of that drag, that depth out at the top, but obviously they've got to find it downwind. But if they can keep speed up, then it's just all about reducing drag.
Yeah, look, exactly right. And a part of the study we were talking about earlier in the year that we did with Ian Percy was the sail set that you need to get a foiling boat out of the water, and then the sail set that you need once you're out of the water and all of a sudden going twice the wind speed, sort of halves in area instantly.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think the next step for the Moth, and you heard it here first at Bar Karate, listeners, is we're going to make really little sails and we're going to tow them in on jet skis.
We could get the U-safes in.
U-safe to tow them in, yeah. There'll be U-safes everywhere.
It's all starting to gel together. So we've got U-safe, jet skis, and then Bar Karate Lager at the end of the day.
Oh, love it.
Right, let's just clarify a point here. So, first off, Rob Greenhouse, his nickname is now Test Rig.
What is it?
Test Rig.
Is it? Test rig, right.
Because, you know, when
have you seen his arms? I'm not telling him that. Who's going to tell him?
That's right.
you ever been to the Test Rig at Persico where they break things all the time?
I heard Somerville the other day,
Yeah. So we've decided that that's Greenhouse's nickname, where he goes and breaks things all the time.
We all know someone who's a bit of a test rig who just breaks shit and makes stuff happen.
So every
And
boat's got to have a
Bob's the
test
guy
rig.
Who,
Yeah.
in my mind, came out as a guy who'd do that, but comes out with a pretty good product by the sound.
Have you got one, Squarky? Have you got a test rig?
Have I got a test rig?
On your boat.
On the blackjack.
Each boat should have a test rig with
Someone
it.
just touched shit and it just breaks.
No, I don't. But on the TP52 MV scooters, you do. A guy named Peter Elkington.
Well, like I said, I haven't actually met them yet. So I tell you, we did have a test rig at one stage. You remember back in the day? Hollywood Boulevard, Early Beach Regatta.
So back in the day, we were hot shots. I'm not sure I'm going to get this part right because we did have a few failures back then.
Spinnakers.
And we won the Southport race. Hollywood Boulevard was brand new, and we all had the red shirts, and we were young and unbeatable.
Acting like you had red shirts.
And so, yeah, exactly right. And then, so we go and do Early Beach, and we go up the beat. We're going along.
That wasn't a dig at Wild Oats, by the way.
I didn't pick up on that. And so we're going up the beat, and Ray Roberts, who's driving the boat's concentrating, like, all get out like it's the end of the earth. And I think I was doing tactics, and I said to Ray, you know, we're coming on the ley line, and the top marker said, "Hey, Ray, you got to turn around." He goes, "What for?" And what do you have to turn around for, Brett?
Well, there was a spinnaker floating in the water, I think, and we won't go into the details of it all, but
it was Buffalo, wasn't it? It was Bubsy. Didn't he throw it out of the hatch with such force?
Oh, well,
hang on. Out of the hole.
Have we got time to rewind this story a little bit, just one step?
Just, putting it out the hatch, but off she goes.
But I'll tell you how it all started. It all started by coming around the top mark, hoisting the symmetrical spinnaker, and then realising we should have been on the ASO going to the different mark. So we peeled to the asymmetrical spinnaker, fractional at that stage, put it up on one sheet, and we're flying into the mark doing warp speed, probably 15, 17 knots at that stage. And I said to Bubs, I was in the pit, I said, "Bubs, how are we going to get this thing down?" And he says, "Oh, mate, I'll grab the sheet, you ease the tack and the halyard at the same time, and I'll bring it in." So you're right, okay.
Neck minute.
Oh, look, it's a classic story. Anyway, I'm coming into the mark and I'm looking at Bubs, and Bubs is out there holding the sheet fully loaded because there wasn't a second sheet on it. And he goes, "Go!" And then the next thing you know, it sets out off the back of the boat. I look at Ray and it's like fully setting out the back. And I said to Ray, I had the knife in hand and the halyard and the tack line were at the knots on the clutches, and I just went ting, ting, sheet, ding, and off it went. Chase boat pickup. All good. Bubsy's fuming. Anyway, upwind, as you say, we're going upwind, and Bubsy's gone downstairs to get the only spinnaker left on the boat. And he's come up, and he's he is fuming. You know, the Bubs has got a bit of heat on. And Bubs, we love you. Don't worry, it's all good. And anyway, he's come out and he's got it caught in the cockpit, and he's pushing it out of the cockpit. Next thing he goes dunk, 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 in through the floor and out over the fence and into the piss.
Oh, beautiful.
Well, what was better, just to round that off?
North SARS.
So North SARS, yeah. so then, you know, I'm a young up and start whippersnapper, so I'm like, right, we've got to have a training day on the lay day. So we have a massive night, go out training the next day. And I'm not sure who it was, Brett, but somehow our masthead chute got hoisted on the fractional halyard, and Richie Allenson had to ring us from the hotel room and say, training day's over, boys.
Yeah, I love the way you look at me, so I don't know who it was, Brett. That's the second week in a row people are asking me things that have gone wrong with yachting. Now, I can tell you I was in the pit. I didn't connect anything up.
Oh,
Test rig.
Bubsy.
So Bubsy's test rig and his BP a test rig.
Yeah, I
This is
think
what
so.
we're discovering.
Oh, thanks, Scroggy.
While we're bragging, keep it down over there because I've got to brag. Who did we forecast for our results in the Worlds? So, BP,
Yeah.
who did you have?
Test rig.
I had the male model,
Okay, the male model, Tom Burton. So,
Tom Johnson.
Tom Johnson, yeah. So, Tommy Johnson in at 9th.
Yep.
And Robbie Greenhalgh's in at 7. Who did I have? I took a risk. I went for Slingsby, didn't I? Where did
You know those magnetic poles?
Yeah.
It was like their red hair got connected together.
Oh, right, exactly right. They're like that, the redheads.
the king is? Well,
They're Bluetoothing.
well, Langford split up the redheads because Burton was in 3rd. So Slingsby first,
Yeah,
Langford
a little
second.
bit downstairs, apparently.
Oh, yeah, that's what we've argued.
He's a fine
Bit of a
lad.
fanderpants.
We did ask him, but he was reluctant to commit. So, as we said last week, Slingers had to win this and the Worlds to be eligible for the Ginga Challenge. So I think he's ticked both boxes now.
Yeah, he's on fire.
I think he won it with 1,111,100 something points, right?
It was all first except for one. It was insane.
So we'll just stay on that subject, but just the other thing that Slingsby's achieved this year, apart from that other show that he runs, the circus, I think he was involved with winning 5 races of the Etchells Worlds as well.
Yeah.
So he's won more World Championship races this year in the last 6 months than most people win in their lifetime.
Maybe he should take the World Sailor Year title away from the 13-year-old, from Marco.
Maybe there should be a bar karate sailor of the year.
Yeah, well, we're definitely... Slingsby's the man at the moment.
We actually tipped him. I think when we had Hoskins on, like, who is the all-round best sailor, we couldn't understand what Hoskins was saying half the time, but we pretty much ended up with Slingers for sure.
Yeah. We do. So the coverage for the Moth Worlds was a mate of ours, Harry Fisher, down under sail, and he put in a huge effort, like lots of coverage, the drones and the whole, had commentators flowing in, the whole thing. And I felt really bad for him because all he had to do was film one race and put it on replay. And everything was identical, nothing changed.
The thing that's interesting with that comment is, if you can't teach, why is it that all the South Australians are now commentators? Those blokes are from South Australia, aren't they?
No, Jody Shields, he's from Lake Macquarie.
I thought they were from South Australia.
Lake Macquarie.
Because we can all understand each other,
Yeah.
Just got to slow it up a couple of notches.
And I think what you have
Get
to
a
add,
couple under the belt.
add here with the bar karate, the only reason we're in it's for the beer.
And most of it's because of looks. They want the good-looking people on TV.
Behind the microphones.
Oh, right.
Exactly.
Right. I was wondering what I'm doing
Never
here
in
then.
front of the camera.
Anyway, I'm a Queenslander these days, so
I know that.
Yeah,
I know that.
You know that.
You both are now behind.
All right, Fin Worlds. So we're recording on Friday in what's turned out to be... They should put some more food on that table. That quietened them down a bit. The Fin Worlds are on, so there's, I think, about 3 races to go. There's, at Royal Brighton Yacht Club, 60 boats. We've had 4 days, so it was light wind, super hot, no wind, and then yesterday was 15 knots and pumping all day. So when I say pumping, pumping the sail, like non-stop pumping the whole day. Josh Jr. currently is in the lead. Giles Scott in behind him, but it's a mixed bag. There's quite a bit of variety in the score sheet, but it looks pretty good for Josh Jr. at the moment. He's 17 points on drop with a drop, and 30 points to Giles Scott, and Somba Berecic in third. In third at 35, tied with Nick Heiner, who's a bit of a superstar, 35, and then Andy Maloney on 36. So that's your real front pack there.
It's actually a very good story there. Jean Bois is a very cool story. We actually had the pleasure of sailing with his coach last year on the Team Hungary team, and he gave us the insight into what goes on behind the scenes in coaching the Finns. It's pretty incredible, eh?
Yeah, full-time role.
absolutely.
Full-time job, sailing a fin.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to be a monster to sail.
Got any knocker stories? No, we'll leave that.
Yeah, go on.
Knocker, right, okay. Anyway, I'm just looking at these results. The only comment I'd make, looks like North Sales are going okay again. There you,
I knew that
there
was
you go.
coming.
You said we didn't plug anything on this
I
show.
knew that was coming.
All clear.
I'll just confirm to our listeners that this is not a paid. There is no money changed hands.
I was going to say the check better be in the mail.
No.
I'm paying these guys.
Yeah. No one from any company has ever paid us any money. I can assure you of that.
It's invitation only.
No, they're doing well. Top Australian Jake Lilly, he's in at 64, so he's 9th overall. It's a good fleet. It's a shame it's going to go out of the Olympics. I do like the Finns, but it's definitely going out of the Olympics.
Mate, if that's going out, they got to bring the Moths in.
Yeah, I
After what
agree.
we've just seen.
I think the
Moths.
Moths, it's a different form of tactics, sailing the Moths, but I think the Moths do have to come in. I reckon that's the only way. Drop the laser, drop the fin, just do
That's a gold medal, right?
Gold medal.
Yeah.
Gold medal for Australia.
But you look at the weights on the Moths, you know, like Slingers is 95, and there's guys sailing them at 68, 70, you know, and it's all about your fall size. So just...
So are you sort of saying you're in with a chance to get back into it? Is that why you want them in? You out there on the Moth?
I was actually going to say, I wish I was sailing fins, because then I could, when my wife says, what the hell are you doing at 100 kilos? I'd say there's a reason for it. It's not like 400 beers a night. You know, I still look good.
Speaking about Olympics,
What?
But-
Double-handed offshore?
double-handed offshore.
Barney. It's,
Aye.
oh, come
Absolutely.
out early.
Yeah, but Squikey doesn't know where this is heading, so should we give him a little bit of time to have a think about it?
No, that's
straight
right.
into
It's
it.
just
Off the
not
top of the
me.
head.
Pretty quick
Off the top of the head, right.
Yep.
Okay, no warning. No, this is no non-scripted either, right? Okay, here we go.
So, there's obviously the new double-handed offshore Olympic event in 24. We've mentioned it a bit. It's of interest to us. In Australia, for the rest of the world, the first person to nominate as a team was Ian Barney Walker and Jade Cole. So they're the first Aussies to put their hand up, so they want to have a go. And then now the second team is a good mate of ours, Nick Maloney, and Adrian Cahalan. So the first response that I've had, and no offence to my friends who put their hands up, is this an over 50s event?
Is there age in the Olympics?
Geriatrics.
Because if you're the Australian selectors, wouldn't you want to select a team that's going to be alive when the Olympics?
Look, I tell you what would be great, and I know all those people and love them dearly, but to watch Barney in the green and gold walk around at the opening ceremony,
green and gold tracksuit.
just sweating up a storm with a buster,
Having a burner?
mate, that is, if that's not Australia, I don't know what is.
Beautiful. I've just got it in my vision. It's just classic.
Right.
Imagine it was like one of the little doll of Barney. Every kid in Australia at every school gets one.
Drip press here and a puff of smoke comes out. Instead of some twinkly twilight bloody nursery rhyme, it's a puff of smoke.
But
You know, when you walk
if you win a gold for yachting experience, he's got it in the bag.
Oh yeah,
Sure. And it's going to come down to that.
All four of them, if that's the
Absolutely.
first lineup.
Absolutely.
They're all pretty experienced.
So, I rang Australian Sailing yesterday, and because if these teams are nominating, what boat are they going to be training on? What's the selection? So if you remember the selection criteria for the Australian, each team, each country, they pick a boat on that region, that continent, and that's endemic to that continent, or that's, a lot of people sail, and it's easy access, and you'll be selected in that boat. And then for the Olympics, it's a separate new boat named completely for that Olympic one. So the question I had for Australian Sailing, what is the boat going to be for Australia?
No, it's pretty obvious. It's going to be... I've got a few ideas.
Let me finish. Yeah, before you have your ideas. So the response from Australian Sailing is they haven't actually decided yet. They haven't even formed the framework, and probably won't know till the end of 2020, right? So we need to, as Barkarati, nominate the boats for the Oceania region. This is our goal.
So it was sitting around the 30-foot mark, right? Basically double-handed.
Give or take.
Young 88 could be a good one.
Young 88.
Could give the Kiwis a leg up, as would the Stewart 34 for that matter. That would have been another good one. Or for any of the South Aussies, a Dunkerson 29 could be a beauty.
Dunky 29 with the aft-facing head directly in front of the cockpit entrance. It's a beauty.
Yeah.
Look, I think out of respect for Brett, what's that thing that you've got? The 8-metre thingy?
The K8, yeah.
The K8, because, we've got a North Sales plug in there, which we don't do on this show, so we may as well do a plug for that while we're at it.
But I think
the K8
we all know ultimately what it's has to be.
As a group, we've collected.
It's all about the media. It's all about this, and the boats need to get in and out from the start line, from the finish line, super quick. So there's only one boat that can fill this spot, right?
There is only one boat, and a renowned offshore boat as well.
Renowned offshore boat, super quick under motor.
I'm wondering where Squark's mind's going.
Well, I got the first bit of it, so I'm right with you. I've got the brochure from the 80s in my mind right now.
And you can actually go water skiing behind it as well. It's got to be the McGregor 26.
McGregor 26.
Well, I don't know if anyone picked up, but during the week I did put something up on the website, and it was a Richie Allenson comment, actually. That's water ski in the morning, sail in the afternoon, what a combo. And it was a comment made to Gardo many, many moons ago that still lives on at the Palace.
So everyone watching all these falling boats going around, just Google McGregor 26.
But the funny thing is, they've got a water ballast in them of some sort.
Oh, yeah. No,
and they've got a really high centre of gravity, so if you get a few people on board, they're renowned for just tipping over. I know that because I grew up on a Boomeroo 22. So.
Oh, wow.
So there is massive discussion going on within our Barkarati crowds about what boat is going to be the selected boat, and we have put it forward. It's officially the McGregor 26. Collectively agreed upon.
What about the S&S 34 though?
Mate, S&S 34.
There's plenty of them still going around the world. You just step on.
Yeah, drag Jess's out of the museum.
Out of the museum.
Yeah.
John Sanders probably got one lying around behind. He's moved on from the S&S, but yeah, I don't know. I have no clue. They have no clue what boat. So, what boat genuinely should we use? Does anyone?
I have actually been speaking to a couple of people, and we were talking perhaps modified Mum 30s. There's so many of them. Whack a bit of water in them, different keel shape, modify, get rid of the symmetrical systems, all asymmetrical, and there you go, you're away with a cheap boat. Bang.
I mean, there's a couple of good ones out there. The L30s, the, what are those, the Sunfast?
Yeah.
They're doing a bit of training on. What else did I see there the other day? The what?
Delaire 30s as well. They're out there. They're all very production-based and very, very...
Adams 10.
The Adams 10.
Get the late boys onto it. Let's get the Adams 10 out there.
Tommy Braywood, big back.
Oh, Tommy, that'd be great. Actually, back. Tommy should announce the team.
Yeah.
Who should Tommy sail with?
No one.
Maybe Tommy and Stacey. They got the Chinese whispers going at the moment. Maybe that's the next great hope.
Play.
Yeah, could be.
So
you heard it here first.
Speaking of teams, we've worked out Barkarati can put in a team because I'm over 50. And one of these two just has to identify as a woman, and we're away.
I've been known to sit down for a piss now and then,
but everyone here is non-gender specific, right?
Correct. We don't actually constrain it. Oh God, we're going to get in trouble soon. This is running very loose, this show. All right, moving on. I'm not going to talk about the T-shirt ideas because that's going to get us. We'll have to make that.
You can't go down that path.
Should we go to the Secret Pro news?
Secret Pro, going to the Secret Pro. Have I received anything?
He's literally looking on his phone right now.
We have received some Secret Pro news. There's a little bit of controversy from the Secret Pro. Let's talk about this.
Can't say that.
Yes.
Can't say that. No, I can't say anything of that.
Come on.
It's all about positive news. Positive news. No,
well, let's talk about the second element, the rumour. We can't talk about the first element. Yeah, They like our show, mate. They're loving it.
There's nothing like a fake crowd laugh in the background.
Do we want to talk about that other element, that other race?
No.
Man, we could get in so much trouble. Right, okay, well, let's not do that. Squawk, let's ask Squawk what boat we're buying this week.
So if you had no limitation and you could buy a boat, what would it? Can be anything: racing, cruising, foiling, SNS 34, McGregor 26.
That's a great question. I mean, I've got a lovely Fairway 36 for sale out there, listeners. So I wish someone out there would buy that, and then I could buy my dream
someone
boat.
else buy?
All right, can you go past the Young 11?
Oh, there you
they're
go.
getting down there in price now, the Young 11.
Yeah, always.
You can
like
get the
Young
family
11.
on board. Beautiful boat, you know. Yeah, outside edge. There you go. Your navigator just purchased the outside edge. There's the hot word.
My navigator, as in, well, I've got a story. I've got a bit of. I sailed on that boat for the best part of 4 years when it was brand new.
Actually, that fits the size range for the double-handed event too. I think it's like
maybe that's a good boat.
8 to 11.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Yeah. So
What are you buying this week, Joe?
I've got written down the VX1. We've not plugged them ever, and I love those boats. I reckon they're really good. They're simple, they're easy. Sail makers can still make money off them because they've got different manufacturers. And what I like about them is whatever the wind speed is the speed you'll do downwind. So if you go out in 30 knots, you'll be doing 30 knots downwind, and you just hang on. The sheet loads are about that light, so you know. Big tough fellas like myself
As light as us.
Yep. Can trim. I reckon they're a good boat. They're a good boat. Good one design. I love one design racing. That's where my heart lies.
BP, what are you rolling?
Just before we get into that, so the listeners can understand, that light is putting your two fingers together and waving it through the air. That's the symbol for that light.
Kind of in front of your forehead, moving away slowly back and forth.
It's a new Baccarati symbol.
Actually, speaking of symbols, Squawk, here's a challenge for you. We worked out that Baccarati is B is 2 on the alphabet and K is 11. So 2 V's like that, BK. You could do a BK symbol if you're on TV, mate. Just Baccarati. Yeah, that's it. You got it. Yeah, to signify the different letter.
What was the question again?
What boat are you buying this week?
Oh, boat of the week. Actually, to be honest, it's been a pretty head-down, butt-up week for me, so I haven't really been thinking about it. It's on the spot. What did you buy, Squarky? Just said it.
I was just trying to sell my Fairway 36.
I won't buy that. Young 11. I don't know.
I'm just going for a simple Moth.
A Moth?
I'm sure they're pretty cheap. You can probably buy a Young 11 for the same price, I reckon.
Yeah, no.
A Moth is a good call. We were all taken with the Moth, so I've got to be honest. So,
I'll say I wouldn't mind. This week I'll buy Envy scooters for the week, if that's okay.
Buy
Just this week.
So you want a TP52?
This week, yeah.
So, Squawk, just so you know, when we first did this, Bicey decided to buy an aircraft carrier, US aircraft carrier. That was his purchase.
Right. Good call. How did that go?
Just keeping it powered up was a little bit difficult. Didn't have the right certifications.
Yeah, right.
We actually, speaking of Navy ships, we got a good close look at a couple yesterday from work perspective.
You mean Comanche?
No.
McLeary Wines.
Esprit de corps.
Babe, she wasn't sure if it was a pig or a dog.
Oh, mate, we did, just on that boat in particular, we did a tack in 35. The owner's name was Brian Graves, I think. His job was to let the runner off, and he held onto the runner as we tacked, the old runner, and that pinned the mainsail, so we couldn't ease the main sheet. And we're on our side of Hayman Island, and Vaughnie Prentice is looking at this guy's eyes through the water, waving at him, going, you know, the sign of ease the runner and you'll live.
All these new Baccarati symbols. I mean, we got to bring them in.
Well, I must admit, that explains when you look at your team on your little website that you've got for your boat. Matty Chew is listed as lured runner trimmer.
good at that. Yeah, Matty sailed with us for a couple of years, and he was great at the leeward runner. Also very handy at driving, I might add.
Yeah, probably got a few clues.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
All right, very good.
All right, we've touched on results, events, stuff like that. What about if someone wants to contact us? Could people reach out? We
So
want
what we're thinking of doing, obviously we got Facebook, Instagram, all the socials, but setting up a Bar Karate email address. We're just trying to come up with a tag for it, whether it's beer at Bar Karate or test rig at Bar Karate or...
rather than, we don't want info at Bar Karate.
No.
Support at Bar
And what
Karate.
info are you going to get anyway, realistically?
So we're looking at setting that up.
Thank you.
I think it's a good idea.
Thank you.
So anyone can send in that way, and I'll do that over the Christmas period, ready for the new year.
Yeah. So you can contact us via Instagram, Facebook, on the website. So hashtag Bar Karate Facebook on the web, Bar Karate at Facebook or barkarate.com. Yep, go on.
Has Test Rig got an outfit, sort of like the Stig?
Yeah,
Maybe the Test Rig.
Brad Funk was kind of almost rolling what the test rig should look like.
Wasn't he looking good?
Yeah.
Yes.
In the silver suit.
I like it.
There was I don't know if you saw the photo after the racing where he's sort of chest out, head to the side, looking very Roger Ramjet.
Look, the other person you should consider for that role is Nick Partridge. I think it would be
definitely.
the all-time Test Rig.
Absolutely, yep. And
a
that's
beauty.
actually not wrecking shit on the boat. It's like wrecking everyone in the bar afterwards.
He is an animal. Oh, cannons.
All right, guys, we're going to run this up. So we're running near the end of the time there. So let's bring in and talk about our quiz question. So here's a question for you, Squawk. Which creature can detect the female of their species from up to 7 miles or 11 kilometres away?
Chances not you.
The female of the species.
Yeah, so
I'll go with the honey badger.
Very good guess. No.
Bicey thought it was him.
Well, we'd all like to think that, wouldn't we?
When you got the smell on, you know.
Yeah. All right, so the actual answer is a moth. Yeah, a moth. There's a little bit of a tie in the sailing link here.
Now I see what we're doing.
Yeah, right.
So
You ever smelt mothballs? How do you get their legs apart?
I've done a lot of sailing with mothballs, and he stinks.
All right, so a moth, they don't have any nose. They are expert sniffers. They detect odour molecules through their antenna instead of through nostrils. So there you go. Up to 11 kilometres away. So the final question we go before we sign off. Squawk, before we ask that question, thanks for coming and joining us, mate. It's been a ton of fun.
Thanks, boys. Great to
been
catch
too
up
long,
with you.
mate.
Bloody legendary.
It's been...
Good luck in the race, and I think we're going sailing maybe today.
We're going sailing now, aren't we?
yeah, you're going sailing now.
Apparently.
And we'll do a follow-up after the Hobart as part of our little Hobart specials. This is for the audience, so getting too excited.
It's for the double-handed guys.
Yeah.
Just so I know, a stretcher just rolled in the bar here.
Yeah. One of the Australian double-handed teams is out.
Nick Partridge has clearly been in the bar and caused damage to someone.
Okay, so the question for next week. Which sailing event is the oldest continually conducted annual sailing regatta in the world? This is the question for next week.
And it's a fantastic thing too.
Yeah. So none of you knows the answer?
Nah.
No.
Squarky, thanks, mate.
Good on you, Squarky. Good luck in the race, old mate.
See you later, everyone.